to spend this Sunday morning, evening, wherever you are in the world with you over on Burn the Stigma.
Yeah, and now it shows up top that it's streaming on yours. Yay! So when you're live on YouTube, now I just want to take a peek. So does it show up on people's scroll, or do they have to know the destination to get there?
I don't know, but what I'm really excited about right now is so many people yesterday were talking about how do you tell a loved one you've left AA? I have a membership, and inside we have a book club. Yesterday, our book club was Cults in Our Midst, and a lot of the people who were on that Zoom were saying that they've been struggling with how do they tell their loved ones that they are leaving AA, that they left AA, and that AA is harmful, so that they can understand. Because, the way that I see it is that the world, the culture is still indoctrinated that AA is the way. And so people feel scared. They feel of their loved ones leaving AA. They feel like it's a bad decision. They don't understand what a cult religion is, or that AA actually has inherent harm in the ideology. And they've really been struggling with that. So I'm going to see if I can find a way to put this link on where all these commenters, I'm so sorry that you're commenting and I have to go send you the link right now. But I wanted to kick us off with that topic. So maybe if you want to take that topic while I figure out the link.
Well, it's actually really funny that you said that, because months ago, I actually recorded, in my stuff of things that I don't upload, because I had a couple people, I've written a couple letters for people to, I'm like, you can use these to either send it like a text message just like this, or just use it as talking points. But I've had a couple people actually say to me, like, I don't know how to talk to my loved ones about this. So I had done a video, and I had a couple letters to link in the video of what to say to people, of ideas just to generate, because it is such a heavy topic. Like, there's so many people who automatically think, like, I know my parents, never a member of the program, but the second that they first heard that I was not in the program or was not going to meetings anymore, automatic panic. They panicked like right away, because to them, if I'm going to meetings, then I'm working my recovery and doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But if I'm not, then, then I must be sick and suffering, because that's what the professionals told them. So yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine when you have family members who go to the program as well, that's a whole other, bag of bullshit right there. But yeah, it's funny. Because you guys, that's going to be motivation for me to upload that one. I'm going to write it down. Sorry, on my mic. Can you guys see my Christmas tree? It's my little narc. There's a little Narcan on it. I'm going to write this down. Upload leaving AA video. My hair is so much longer in that. It's funny. That's how you're going to be able to tell like my old content to now, because of my hair. Oh, man. That sucks that it started like that.
I just posted the link over on my channel. There's all these comments there. I love it. They're waiting for the miracle. They're not sure the miracle. I'm losing my patience waiting for the miracle.
Oh, man, that's too funny. Yeah, I'm sorry about the whole technical difficulties. And I wonder, once you're already streaming, can you I wonder if I should add Facebook to it.
Yay! We're having some peeps make it. You stayed for the miracle. It's total first day of school vibes.
Let's see what happens there. Yay, blue butterfly. I know. I hate technology. Like, I love technology, but I hate technology all at the same time. And sorry for those of you watching the replay. You're probably like, I don't care about technology. The miracle has happened. Yes, it has. I want to practice with your... Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Nice. It only takes, I mean, I just think this is a good, like, if I always like to take like the whatever's happening small and make it kind of like a bigger picture, like lesson, how Um, I think it's really important if you feel that you want to do something, whether that's leaving AA, whether that's getting sober, whether that's harm reduction, or whether that's starting a fucking live stream with your friend. like um it's always like, for me, any goal that I've had that I've wanted to pursue, it was awkward at first and I didn't know what I was doing. And that not knowing what you're doing, we can get stuck in the not knowing what we're doing and get paralyzed and not take action and not do the damn thing. And it's okay to be messy. It's okay to it's okay to show up as you are. It's okay to just get started. People, just take the action. And even if you like bonk it, so that I have people over here commenting right now on my channel, like, where the fuck are you, Sobriety Bestie? And I'm like, bro, yo, oops. We were going to go live on Burn the Stigma, then Bestie, and now we're back on Burnie. And like, that's just the way the technology worked this morning. We don't know what we're doing, and that's okay. We're showing up anyways. It's not going to look perfect. You know what's going to happen if we keep doing these. Hint, hint, our plan is to keep doing these, maybe even weekly. Yay, Burnie and Bestie weekly. Woo! And you know what? Within a month or two, we're going to be like amazing at it. There's going to be no tech hiccups. We're going to be on time, unless we're not, and it's going to be fine. And I think that is just something to remember as you're pursuing a dream or a goal or a change in your life, is that it's going to be weird at first. The baby, like, we don't fly, here it is. We don't fly out of the womb into the New York Marathon or Boston Marathon or whatever and do an Ironman, okay? Right. We have to learn how to sit up first. The baby first learns how to flip over and then sit up and then stand and then walk and then run and then maybe train to run a marathon or Ironman, right? We don't just start knowing how to do what we're doing. And so instead of shaming the baby, whether we're talking about the word formerly called relapse, right? Because, some of us don't say relapse anymore. So whether we're talking about making changes towards quitting smoking cigarettes or quitting drinking or quitting AA or whatever, maybe you went to another meeting in AA and you're feeling kind of bad about it, or you're feeling weird about it or whatever, or you want to go back or you're thinking of going back. Because I sure thought all the time, should I go back to a meeting? Should I go back to a meeting? I'm lonely. I'm halting. I am halting, people. Should I go back to a meeting? But it's really about just keep going until you get good. The beginner isn't good. The baby isn't running right away. Can you imagine telling a baby who's learning how to stand and walk to, like, you shouldn't even try. You fell again? You fell? You're falling? You're not a walker. You're not made out of this. No, it's permission to not do it good or well or right or the right way the first time. So even though this was a bit of a technical mofo, oh my God, this is so funny. I think that I always like to pull the meta lesson out of it too. And like, maybe this is exactly the perfect way to start it, to not be perfect. Because maybe you, whoever's watching right now, yes, you, I'm talking to you specifically, whether you're one of the Burnies or one of the Besties or one of the Burnies and Besties, y'all are probably all Burnies and Besties by now, right? Can I get a whoop whoop? So yeah, just start whatever it is. So many people want to write a book, or they want to start maybe they want to start a podcast, or they want to change jobs, or they want to leave a cult religion. Just start taking action, and it's okay. And I want to say one more thing before I shut up, because I can get on a roll. So we have Jim Cunningham over on my channel, which hopefully you guys saw the link and you're all over here now, saying, I'm phoning my sponsor for advice. This is taking too long. At this rate, they won't be able to keep it in the day. Coming back, Jim. You just got to keep coming back.
Jim made it.
Oh, he's here. Yeah. He made it. You made it. I'm so sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Happy Sunday, folks.
It's so true, though. So many of the things I'll start to do, and then I'll hit a hiccup, and I'll be like, well, I'll try that again later, or I'll get back to that another time. And I don't get back to it because I remember the hiccup from the last time, and then I don't want to go back to it because I'm like, well, it's probably going to be messed up again. I mean, that's why I never go live by myself, even though I want to, and doing this is going to help. But
well, yeah. I'm going to double dog dare you. Remember that? Double dog dare? I'm going to double dog dare you to go live by yourself one day, but we're doing it together. Just stick with the winners.
Oh. So cringy.
Okay, I want to know in the comments, whoever's here live vibing with us or whoever's watching the replay, what is the cringiest slogan that comes to your mind right now?
Someone say a good one. But sometimes it literally, like, I have a physical reaction to them. Sometimes hearing some of those comments, like, it literally makes my stomach turn. It's like, ugh.
What's a stomach
disgusting.
turner right now?
The only one that comes to the top of my head, like without overthinking it, is the "it works if you work it" one. Just because so many of us had tried
Yeah.
to work it, and it's like it doesn't work if you work it.
Yeah, that was the first one that popped in my head too when I asked the question immediately. But then when you said something about thinking, I was like, oh, stinking thinking. The whole idea that we can't trust our thinking is so like, okay, so I was talking to my mom last night. Let me tell you my current favorite phrase, you guys. Like, it is this is like the funniest thing in the world to me. I might even like, I might even biologically have an issue after I explain this because it's just so bad. Okay, so you know how like in AA or in 12 step, you're supposed to turn your will and your life. If anybody tells you to turn your will and your life over, it is that's beyond a red flag. That's a stop sign. Turn your will and your life over. First, it was to God, and then to a higher power, and then a higher power of your understanding, right? It might have changed as they try to figure out a way to not be offensive to people, less offensive to people who aren't religious and don't want religion, right? I think that was the thought process. I'm not an expert on this. But so then also the interesting thing here is that also your higher power can be what is it? What can your higher power also be that you probably touch every day?
A chair, a doorknob.
So my favorite sentence right now is turn your will and your life over to a doorknob of your understanding. People, what the fuckery is even that? That's how if you want to live, you need to turn your life over to a doorknob of your understanding. Can I get a doorknob of my understanding?
It's like, it's so crazy because at one time, like, we were really in spaces that was legit advice. Like, that was actual advice. It's like, well, if you can't understand what we're saying, like, let's just start here. Let's just start in this place of, well, the doorknob, a chair. Like, it's just about getting outside of yourself. It's like your thinking, your thoughts, your decisions are so effing bad that you have to choose a doorknob. That is what they're telling you. That's going to be a better bet for you over your own brain. When you like step away from that for a second and really think about the message there, it's like, holy shit, it's wild.
I think someone's saying we have echo effects. I just checked my my microphone. I have my mic and my headphones. I think they're in right. I'm sorry about that. That's so annoying.
Is anyone else hearing an echo effect?
Hey, the joke of the doorknob of your understanding was mine from one of the comment sections. Love your channel, by the way. Yes, that was so good. I have got you guys are so amazing. I'm obsessed with the comment section because I get the funniest words from you guys that are so like, they're kind of iconic for me as like someone who's deprogramming because they're so funny. Doorknob of your understanding. That's right. Like, so it was so good. I was like, this is ridiculously, I'm like pissing myself. The other one I got from the comments, these are not mine, right? But I say them because they're so funny. Bill shit. So good. And I've kind of morphed that into Bill shittery. I don't know why. It just feels right. But Bill shit. Someone else said Bill boozled. I got Bill boozled. I'm like, I'm dying. I'm like dead. This is so good. Doorknob of your standing. Bill shit. Bill boozled. What? This is so good. And you know what? In all like honesty, I really think that speaks to our evolution because we're able to find humor in it. Because if we're really honest about what happened, when we really look at it, it can be shocking, startling. It's horrific to realize that you've been living essentially alive for a really long time. And then the grief can be immense. It was very immense for me. The guilt of not being there for the newcomer, the shame that I felt conned. I had this, like, I felt humiliated. Like, how was I so dumb? I felt like I was played, like I was totally manipulated. And I felt very embarrassed. I had a lot of feelings. So the fact that we can be over here and go through periods of, because grief to me, whether it's grief from like a loved one, like dying, or whether it's from leaving AA or whatever, or a cult religion, it's like in waves. It's not all at once. You know, it can be intense, but it's in waves. And so is like healing. I look at healing and recovery. It's kind of like in waves. It's not linear. And so the fact that we can be laughing and saying things like doorknob of your understanding, what's up, Vic? Then I think that that's a sign to our healing, our evolution, that we're moving on, you know, that we can make fun of it. Like make fun of that we used to believe all that stuff versus being in like, oh, like when I felt conned, I wasn't laughing about bullshit. I was feeling embarrassed and horrified that I had believed the bullshit. So adding in the laughter, to me, it's part of the healing and the recovery, if you will, from recovery.
Yeah. I've been doing this thing. I don't know what it is lately, but I feel, because you know how people's experience in the rooms can vary, right? Like someone can just go to meetings, and there's the type of meetings where it's more like a support group and you never talk about the literature, and it's all just people raising their hand and sharing about the day, and the only time that you hear the programming is when, you know, during the preamble and all of that stuff. And I've been finding myself feeling more so lately that I need to clarify that, you know, I understand that not all meetings are this way and blah, 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 blah. And I don't know, I used to do that, then I stopped doing that. And now I'm back to doing that. And I don't know why I'm like, why do I feel the need to have to do that? Obviously, if my experience doesn't relate to your experience, then it doesn't relate to your experience. There's no need for me to have to clarify what it is, but there's something about like this sense of, I don't even know, because it's not even like I'm one of those people that says, well, it's all pathways, like whatever works for you. Because no, I don't think that at all. I think that the program is dangerous enough that even if it does work for some people, because of the hold that it has on the universe, basically, that alone is dangerous because it's shaped what everybody believes about substance use disorder in one way or another. But there's just some sort, I don't know if it's guilt or what that feeling is, but I don't like it.
Yeah. And then so it gets into like how we kick this whole thing off, which is how do you tell people who were not in AA, who, I don't really believe in the term normies really, right? But like, how do you tell normies or who are essentially indoctrinated into AA, because society generally is, that leaving AA is actually a good thing and they should be proud of you. Somebody commented yesterday and said, I was struggling with that, but I just told my parents, my family, my spouse, whatever, that it was a harmful cult religion. And they're like, oh, damn, I didn't realize that. Okay, good. Glad you're out. And it was that simple. So there's going to be a whole variety of how people will respond. And that's why when I think about like leaving AA and why I always think that we're so courageous, because society still isn't clear that we were in a harmful group, right? Where if you were to tell anybody that you survived Jonestown, that you hid in the jungle, and that you were, you know, brought back to America or whatever, or that you survived, or that you were a Manson girl, but you didn't do one of the killings or something, or that you were any of that, like that you were in a heavily mind-controlled system, everybody's going to have empathy for you and be like, wow, you survived, right? Not that we need anybody's empathy, right? We're not, you know, we're not victims, right? Might have been victimized, but we're not victims. I don't look at myself that way, at least. But everyone's going to understand, and they're going to have like a heart for you. But if you say you left AA, they're going to think, shh, don't talk about that. You shouldn't say that. You should go back. Oh, you're in harm's way. And they're going to have this whole weird mindset because they don't really understand what it is. So when I think about deprogramming from AA, to me, it's like a CPTSD, like a complex PTSD, but it's like multi-layered because it's not one thing. Our self-concept was disabled. It was shaped. Mine was. You know, my ambition, I was actively told repeatedly by my sponsor, who I was supposed to do what she did if I wanted what she had, kind of thing, right? If I wanted to survive, that my ambition was a character defect and I needed to pray it away to a doorknob of my understanding. Well, I didn't pray to the doorknob, but you know what I mean? And so like there's so many different ways that AA is designed to disable us and make us codependent, that it's like this multi-layered, like traumatic experience. And I don't really even like the word trauma so much. I just feel like it's kind of lost its meaning because it's overused. But I think there is definitely an honoring, and that there are many different ways that it could affect us. And it could be different for each person, like which different aspects that we're working through. Or you okay over there?
Not really. Like, so like 5 things just fell off my shelf, and
Oh, I'm like, wait, what's happening?
just like making sure it's muted. I'm just trying to. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, goodness. This comment, I wanted to say something about it. I found that that's always said in a condescending way, whatever works for you. Yeah, it definitely depends who's saying it, for sure. It's like, oh yeah, whatever works for you. But I also feel like there is for even people who aren't positive about 12 step, that they will always say, well, whatever works for you, if that program is for you. And I used to say that when I first started talking about it. I'm like, 12 step wasn't for me, but if it works for you. But now that's definitely not what I say. AA preaches dependence and exterminates autonomy. It is warmed over original sin.
Yeah. So Frank Bookman was obviously, he's the founder of the cult leader of Oxford group Cult Religion. And his whole thing was that your sins block you from God. And then Bill just twisted that because I guess he felt that would be too intense for it. It would limit the recruitment. It would limit the growing of his movement if he said the word sin, because that's tied to religion usually. So he changed it to resentment.
Makes sense. So they try to present it in a way of doing what works for you, but then they also say that your thinking is fucked up, so you have to do it our way. And those who have truly followed our path don't. Where'd it go? Oh, and no, sorry, that's it. I was waiting for that. And those who truly followed our path don't.
Oh my God, that next comment. Okay, so this next comment, is it odd or is it God? Literally, when I went, true confessions of a true believer, former true believer, you were a true believer in a cult when you went and cried on the cult leader's grave. Okay, that was me. That was me. I did it. And I love that we all have different backgrounds with AA or 12 step, and I loved it. Like I loved it when I was in it. But my sponsee and I loved this sentence here, or this phrase, is it odd or is it God? And she's very, well, she's not my sponsee anymore. But she made shirts that said this on it, is it odd or is it God? And we wore matching shirts that were so cute because she's a designer. And we wore them to Akron, Ohio to Founders Day. And we wore them around, is it odd or is it God? We wore them to Dr. Bob's house. By the way, fun fact, there are 12 steps up to Dr. Bob's house. It's a museum. You got to get a kick out of that. And then also to Dr. Bob's grave, which was like quite the scene. Interesting fact, there's like the Akron, Ohio Founders Day is like a mecca for like Harley Davidson bike riders. They like thousands and thousands of them went, and there was parking lots are just filled with motorcycles. Like I think around the world, around the States, they're like, let's all go to Akron for Founders Day. Like it's a thing. And we're like, what's up with all the motorcyclists? So it's a total vibe for them.
Right. Oh man, dude, I love this. Being in recovery is the same as born again. Oh man,
Yeah,
there's a lot of people who aren't going to agree with that, but I totally agree with that.
It's giving like cult induction though, like where you get a new name, you get new clothes, you get a new identity, you get a new location, you get a new life purpose, you are like, with cults, you are born again, like into the cult. If you get into the center of the boat or in the true believer vibes, for sure.
Yeah, and then this goes outside of the rooms. Like this is something that goes within just recovery culture, treatment culture. Totally. Wait.
Alcoholic is a sinner. Alcoholic in quotes is a singer. The functional dynamic of the worldviews is identical, only using different terms. The result is as freakish as any lunatic golden plates theory. You know what's so interesting is I was having a conversation with my mom last night And I was telling her, she's probably so sick of me talking about AA as a cult. She's like, I get it. I fucking get it. She's patient with me though. And I was just like, I was like, but she's like, it's kind of like a double cult because it's a cult. It has like the whole, like the religious and like conversion process, and it's like at the death threat. Right. But then it also has the sobriety or the abstinence part to it. And I was like, I don't really agree that there could even be a thing like double cult, but everybody can have their perspective. And I was like, no, but here's really like what I kind of was like realizing as I was talking to her, like even more concretely, is that I don't even look at AA as a sobriety, recovery, abstinence, whatever program. I don't look at AA as really having much at all to do with recovering from alcohol addiction. I look at it now, how I look at it is like a pretty much 100% a religion, period. That there is nothing in there about regulating your nervous system. Like in the actual like book or in the steps, the process they take you through is a religious conversion process. It is not about actually recovering from alcohol addiction as I understand it with modern science today. You're not looking at your nervous system. You're not going through a process of like, I don't know. It's all, to me, it's all like a religious conversion. So what was that comment that made me think about that? Alcoholic is a sinner. Yeah. Confession. Like I can't think of any other sobriety path that has a confessional thing, like a group confession that has like a moral inventory. Like what the fuck is a moral inventory? Turning your will and your life over. What other recovery path do you have to turn your will and your life over? So there's so many aspects of it. I'm like, this is just full on religion. It's not really about like how I would imagine if I was going to create an alcohol addiction recovery program, which I don't think I ever would. But if I was, it would be primarily focused on changing your relationship with your thoughts and your feelings, learning how to manage and navigate your stress better, learning coping skills. Like it would involve very specific things about how to essentially survive without alcohol, not needing to reach for alcohol. It wouldn't be about reaching for God and reaching away from yourself. It wouldn't be about self-abandonment, you know?
Right.
What do you guys who are like live in the comments or watching the replay think about that? Do you agree? Probably not, because my views are kind of extreme. Like if it was a spectrum or a scale, like 100% about recovery from addiction, 100% a religion, where do you see it on there? Like,
see, I see the program as it's laid out in the big book as a religion, totally. But this is where I go back to what I was talking about earlier. I know not all groups are like that, right? Not all groups even work the steps. Not all groups have people surrender their will. Not all groups write inventory. But the program as it's designed and laid out in the steps, 100% I see it as a religion, for sure. For sure.
I'm going to delete our original failed live on my page because it's confusing people. How do I delete that? So sorry for everyone who's been confused. We had some tech issues today.
Oh, yeah. They said that there's 2 chats going on.
Yeah. So I'm just going to delete the original one. I think everybody like found that link there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to delete that. But I can see on my YouTube, it shows, even though we're on yours, I can see on mine that it has, it's highlighted on mine too. So they'll find us. It should be good.
This person said 100% religion laid out in the steps with a confession. Yeah.
Yeah. It hit me deep. I did a little like post today online. I've been getting into like writing first thing in the morning and stuff. And it was about the coerced confession. And someone was saying, yeah, but I don't 100% agree with this because it is important to share your stuff. And I was like, yeah, but working through your traumas and your childhood and your past with a trained professional is different than having a coerced confession, kind of like at gunpoint, right? Because you're told if you don't do this, you're going to die, essentially. So a coerced confession at either group level or to your sponsor, to have to admit the exact natures of your wrongs. Like, I don't disagree that there is value in not, like, there is shame that has been released for me to be very honest about things that I didn't want to talk about, but to do the way that we're coerced into doing them in 12 step, and that they're being done with somebody who's just a random person who had a drinking problem, like that you met in the church basement, like that, there's nothing right about that for me. Like, and then the advice that I would get on some of the things, or then you do the coerced confession, and then it leads to what? It leads to making a list of everybody that you harmed. And suddenly you're confessing that some trauma that you had. And then next thing you know, you have to make amends for that trauma to somebody who assaulted you, which was something that I had to do. I was told that I needed to make all my amends, that there's a difference between making 19 out of 20 amends and 20 out of 20 amends. You have to go, and so I kind of was drilled into this purity perfection thing about I have to do it all right. So I did make amends around something that now I'm like horrified that I even contacted that person, like having to do with sexual assault, right? Like it's ridiculous that was even something that I was told that I need to do if I want to essentially to live. So coerced confession is very different because it sets you up then to be controlled, to be dominated, to humiliate yourself, and then to harm yourself potentially with these so-called amends. So it's nuanced. I do think that sharing your shame can be like freeing, but it really depends on the context. And it all comes down to me, choice. You do it because it feels right for you, not because you feel like you're going to die if you don't.
Right. And again, it just goes back to, like this person said, it's sad seeing how some people in the rooms are so miserable and they'll dedicate their whole share to letting you know. And what's funny about this is the groups that I was in, you wouldn't be allowed to share that. If you were having a bad day, you couldn't share any of that. It was all about that stuff that you talk to your sponsor about. We only talk about the solution here. Everybody knows the mess. We're about the solution here. So if you weren't sharing about something that had to do with the literature or the steps, then you weren't sharing. Or, then you could share, but then someone's talking to you after the meeting and telling you that, keep it in the solution, keep it about the book, don't share about your issues. So it's just so interesting that even people who had a different experience with the rooms, like we all have had sort of different experiences, it still goes back to like just all the same fundamentals, even if it's not, Yeah, a good sponsor will instruct you not to make amends where it would harm yourself or another. I guess it just depends. It depends on the rooms, the program.
I just want to do a little shout out. Is that G-Bone? I think I recognize you. Did I happen to watch one of your videos about AA? Am I having a memory win over here? It was actually a really good video, if I remember. I hope I'm not confused, but I want to do a shout out. I think I remember seeing a video many months ago. Let us know, G-Bone.
Good sponsor. Let me see something real quick.
Okay, so Olivia is saying a good sponsor will instruct you not to make amends where it would harm yourself or another. Yeah. I'm not sure. That's a really interesting topic. What is a good sponsor?
Right.
I'm like, let's deconstruct that, right? What is a good sponsor? What is this? Do we even need a sponsor? Does a sponsor even make sense? The whole idea of a sponsor to me is very problematic.
Sponsor does a sponsor.
Uh-oh, it's echoing a little bit. Primarily because it's coerced free labor, and I don't believe in exploitation anymore. Because we're told to sponsor because we have to. So also there's no form, there's no training on how to be a sponsor, there's no qualifications, there's no verifications, there's no accountability, there's no you just kind of do what you've seen and what you're told and what makes sense to you. And sometimes what was modeled to us was very, very toxic, harmful, or sketchy. And then we turn around and do it right back because that's what we think is the right thing to do. And we don't even think about it because we're in a group think and that's just what we saw. So that's what we do. So I love what you're saying here, Olivia, and I totally agree with you on the surface. And then digging deeper, I'm like, does good sponsor actually even make sense to me? And obviously I'm just one voice. So obviously I'm just one voice, just having some thoughts and sharing them on the internet this Sunday morning with y'all out here. I'm actually more interested in your thoughts in the comments, by the way. Oh, yes. Okay. So G-Bone says, yes, that was G-Bone who shared a video about AA or leaving AA or questioning AA. Awesome. I remember that.
How do you tell your sponsees you are leaving AA? I have to leave.
Mm. Oh my God. This is a really good topic. I'm going to write that down.
Didn't you have sponsees when you left?
Yeah. So I can tell you what I did personally. So I freaked the F out, but for context, like I also really loved my sponsees and I loved being a sponsor. So that's where I was at. I loved AA until I realized it was bullshit. And I loved my sponsees. One of them I'd been working with for like 9 years, another one for like 5 years. And so when I left AA, it was April 6, 2020. So that's like 2-3 weeks into the pandemic, depending upon where you were. I was in Indonesia when the pandemic started, actually for the entire pandemic. And so I felt like I am essentially a support to these women, these 3 women that I'm sponsoring. And they are leaning on me and calling me every week and throughout the weeks messaging me as like a support person, right? Their sponsor. And so I didn't feel like it would be right. I didn't feel good like dumping them essentially or getting rid of them or letting them go, however we want to call it, at the very beginning of the pandemic, because some of them were freaking out, and rightfully so, depending upon where you were in the world and how you feel and what your health status was or whatever. The pandemic was different for everybody. And so I felt like I couldn't just like tell them AA is a cult, I'm gone, peace out, like enjoy, because they were going through a huge, the world was like totally uncertain. It was like, it was unprecedented times. and so yeah, I didn't say anything for like 3 or 4 months to them. I still met with them every week. I did not talk about the book. We did not read the book. I did not say anything I didn't believe. I stopped talking anything from the book. And I just showed up as, in my mind, like a friend for them. And then once the pandemic was a little bit more settled and I was a little more stable with my leaving AA, at that point, I told them that I left AA many months ago. And I've just been showing up as a supported friend to you. I'm still available to show up for you for a couple more months as a supportive friend if you want it, but I don't believe in AA anymore. And I'm not going to tell you why or anything about that unless you ask. And that's what I told to them. And then eventually they started asking me why I left AA. And then I started telling them and they started asking more questions. And I only answered their questions directly. I never told them anything else. And then slowly they all, within a year, within a couple of months, they all left AA as well. They trusted me. I was always honest with them. When I was preaching AA, it's because I believed in it. So, and I didn't ever try to convince them of anything. I just was transparent when they pursued me for my own opinions about leaving AA. So my leaving AA and having sponsees was very unique. So that experience, it's not going to translate to most people, but I did it gradually. And what really helped me out too, because it was such a world flip for me, because I was such a true believer. And then suddenly it was like the day I realized Santa wasn't real, right? So I went from being a full-on true believer to, oh my God, the entire thing is shit. So it was world shattering for me. And I wanted to also wait until I had more stability within myself before I really talked about it with anybody. So I only talked about it with my sponsor. With my therapist, not my sponsor. I only talked about it with my therapist to help unpack it all. I also didn't have like lives like this or anywhere where I could have what felt true to me validated for me from somebody else. So I was very much on my own, knowing that what was inside me that said this is all bullshit was real and I could trust that. But not having it mirrored at all on the outside was incredibly difficult. So it was very destabilizing for me. And I just kept trusting my gut and moving forward with my, I want to say sponsor again, with my therapist. So it was a unique situation for me. But I do think that I want to think about what's the best way to tell a sponsee. I want to like get my thoughts together on that. And I want to actually make a video on that, because I think that would be a very helpful thing to put some real thought into. And maybe I can survey some people and see how other people did it and come up with maybe a good video about that. And yeah, especially crowdsourcing people's experience with that, because mine's unique. Not everyone's, global catastrophe, global
right. And when I left, I didn't have sponsees at the time. And just like you said, thinking about that topic right now, just on the fly, I can't answer it, to be 100% honest, because I don't know. Like, there's so many things that come to mind, like, do you even have a conversation, a deep conversation, or do you just keep it easy? I support you. I wish the best for you, but this isn't for me anymore. That is not something that I could answer. That requires some thought, because there's so many things that go with it. This is a huge jump in conversation, but it's a very interesting comment that I saw. Do you worry about the message that deprogramming is becoming too much about trauma dumping, hate, or overly antithesis? Antithesis. Am I saying that?
Honestly, I just want to say, like, why are you here? Why are you here? I see you. I've seen you troll my page. Why are you here? Are you trying to add to the conversation? Are you trying to contribute to people who are leaving and unpacking a hard time? Or are you just stirring the fucking pot? I'm done. That's how I really feel.
See, I didn't know that there was a history of this person, because I think it's a interesting topic by itself about the message of deprogramming, because sometimes I do feel like, not trauma dumping, but I do feel like, sometimes there is, it just depending on, everybody has different experiences, right? But is it becoming, hate? No. And that's the problem that comes with speaking about this, is that when you speak positively about the program, nobody says anything. All we have ever heard is positive from the time we were little and didn't even know what the program was. The messaging has been people who people who have issues, they go to those meetings, right? Positive, positive, positive. And then it's like, you go and you experience something completely different, whether you got there, right away, however long it took to get there, but you have only heard positive. Then in your own thinking, you're told not to trust your own thinking, right? So now you're like, I don't know, this doesn't seem like it's really right for me, but I can't really trust myself because I have a disease that's trying to kill me, right? So then you're stuck. Some of us stay stuck in there for years because we are so scared that our own thoughts are going to take us out, right? So it's like, in order for people to hear the other side, nobody says anything about people when they share their personal feelings and their personal good experience about the program. But when people share their personal negative experience about the program, then there's things to be said, right? And I think there's no perfect way to do this, right? Like, people are going to have opinions and thoughts and whatever, but people who have had a negative experience are absolutely allowed to talk about it. And then when you start to peel back the layers and see the truth, it's not even about, take my personal experience out of it. Who gives a shit about my personal experience? Who gives a shit about your personal experience? The truth is what we're looking at right now, right? So yeah, sure, we share feelings, thoughts, whatever. But at the end of the day, you can take our personal feelings out of it. And the fact of the matter is that program teaches factually untrue things to people about themselves, about the disease of addiction, the disease of alcoholism, all that shit. So with or without our positive or negative experiences, it really doesn't matter, because everything is on literally a foundation of lies, right? So yeah, sorry, I didn't know that he was
Yeah.
troll.
I actually screenshotted his fucking bullshit
Oh
because
Jesus.
he like dumps a bunch of shit and then he bounces out and deletes everything.
Oh my
So I just don't know
God.
what your point is. And but I will speak about the hate. The hate is your projection. It's not the reality. Because here's the thing: let's imagine we're construction workers for a hot minute, right? So if you are going to build a new building where an old building was, and so we'll think about that as like our worldview, our identity, our um, our purpose, all the things that AA gives us, right? And then we need to remove those all. We need to deconstruct. AA instilled into us like a cult personality, a pseudo personality. It told us who we are, why we're here, and how to view the world. That we need a doorknob of our understanding, all the things. And so in order to move on from a cult, you need to deconstruct it. And what that means, like you think of it like a building, you need to take apart the building. If you are a construction worker and you want to build a new building where there currently is a building, you have to take apart the current building. You have to demolish it. You have to deconstruct that building in order to start over and reconstruct a new building. So you cannot get rid of the first building without touching the first building. You have to touch it. You have to remove the roof. You have to remove the roof. Is this usable? Do I want to keep this and use it for the new building or not? So you go through floor by floor and piece by piece, and you look at all the construction that was put in you by the cult religion, by AA, and you got to look at it and say, do I want to keep this or not? Is this true for me or not? Does this make sense for me or not? So you do need to go through and get rid of it. Now, I would never say that I think a construction worker is inherently hates the building that's currently there because they're going to build a new building. It's not about their feelings about their building. It's about their desire to build an authentic fucking life, to build a new building of their intuition, to trust themselves, to critically think, to decide who they are and why they're here. So it has nothing to do with the feelings about what the old building is or what the old ideology is. It's about being authentic and building what's true from who you actually are. Hate is a projection. Hate is your opinion. Hate is it's not anything about what I'm doing. If anyone can't hear me, I loved AA when I was in it, period. If you're hearing anything different, that is your own ears. That's not what I'm saying. I loved AA when I was in it. That's why I was at Founders Day with the t-shirt that said on it, matching my sponsee, walking 12 steps up to Dr. Bob's house. Literally, my sponsee are wearing shirts that say, is it odd or is it God? We are praying at the foot of Dr. Bob's guest bedroom, because that's supposedly the first rehab, right? Or one of them, 12-step rehab, where Dr. Bob would like sober people up in there, right? So we're doing the third step prayer at Dr. Bob's house on our knees, wearing, is it odd or is it God? That's not because we hated AA. And deconstructing AA isn't about hating AA. So many of the people who come and misunderstand what deprogramming is from my perspective. Again, I'm just one perspective, right? But we're going live, so here's my perspective. And so people misunderstand what deconstructing is, and they think that it's resentment. They think that it's hate. They think that it's bashing. Would you call somebody a construction worker who's taking down a building and rebuilding a new one a building basher? I mean, that's not really what they're doing. Okay, technically, I can see that that's like maybe they have a wrecking ball and that's how they are bashing it to get rid of it because they want to build something new. But if you just focus on what's being taken down and what's like, I'm just looking at some of the old comments that you wrote here. Like, it's not about to focus on the act of taking down what's no longer relevant is not accurate to what's actually happening. Nobody's here to hate AA, as far as I can tell. Nobody is here to cling on to the past or to. It's not about hating. It's not about resentment. It's not about having a bad experience. It's about getting the mind control out of our mind and coming back to who we actually are and living through conscious choice. That's how I see it. You get to decide how you want to rebuild your new building. The fact is that we were told essentially that if we don't demolish who we are and build a new building when we got to AA, that we're going to die. So a lot of us demolished who we are so that we can build an AA fucking temple church on top of our fucking like personality. And so we got a whole new personality from AA. A lot of us did. I did. We got a whole new direction in life to help the alcoholic who still suffers. We got a whole new I'm an alcoholic, and that means that I have a fatal progressive disease, and I need to be scared of a disease doing push-ups in the parking lot, and I need to come to these rooms forever. I need to commit. I need to spend like 7 to 20 hours a week on this cult. I need to give my time, my energy. I need to focus only, no outside literature. I need to immerse myself in this ideology. And so that's what we were told we have to do. Otherwise, we're going to die. So to leave that, we're not bad people or wrong or dumping or bashing or hating to want to get rid of that. We were assaulted essentially with an ideology, and we want to remove it from us. Like, this is about freedom. So I get so like, you're missing the point about it in my own mind. I'm like, you don't even see what's happening. But you know what? I also just have zero fucks. Literally, I don't care. I can't care. I'm done caring if I'm misunderstood.
Yeah.
By the way, getting diagnosed autistic was a huge unlock for me, and ADHD, and not caring if people understand me or not. I'm not here to be understood. I will not shrink myself into a personality or into a way of being so I can please you and be understood. Zero fucks given if you think I'm being hateful. I'm not for you then. I've already told this specific person, bro, I think you're on the wrong channel. Like, I'm not for everybody. And I'm sure as fuck not going to change who I am anymore because somebody wants to come in and be manipulative and coercively controlling in my comment section. I'm done. I'm out of being culted. Like, if you can't see that I don't want to be controlled, no, I'm not going to be an asshole. You know, I might sometimes, right? Like, I'm not perfect, but I'm not here to be loved by everybody or understood by everybody. Like, and that's the invitation I would even say. It's like, I don't want to have to like put myself into a box so that you can understand me or that you can like me or that I can be more palatable to you. I'm fucking done. Like, I'm just going to be myself. And if you don't like me, great. I might not like you.
Right.
You like me, great. Like, let's vibe. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how I feel. And maybe it's also getting older, but it's like, if you don't want to vibe with the party that I am, go to a different party. If you like the party that I am, let's vibe. Like, I don't ever go to YouTube channels that I don't like and tell them that they need to change how they are and who they are and how they communicate and what they think so that that it fits how I see the world. Are you fucking kidding me? No, I just don't subscribe. I don't follow them. I don't watch their content. There's literally room for all perspectives. I still think AA should exist. I know that might feel weird to people. I don't think it should go away. I would just never go personally. I have room in my mind, in my worldview, for other worldviews to exist. And I feel like that's an evolved way to be. That I don't need everybody to see eye to eye with me, and that I don't need to compromise who I am so that we can be in connection. Hopefully, you don't have to compromise yourself so we can be in connection. Then we can have like a real juicy conversation where we're not trying to coerce each other into seeing the world that we see it. I can have empathy for your view without needing you to have the same view as me. Okay, rant over. That's how I really think.
I love this comment though. How can you be authentic in groupthink? It's just tiring. It's so true. Like, I remember all the times just trying to be like, I was so much more concerned about how other people thought I was doing. Like, if they thought that I was working the program and I was doing what I was supposed to be doing and like trying to adhere to these standards, inside I'm dying, but it doesn't matter because I have to get over myself anyway. So who cares how I feel? It doesn't matter how I feel. And that was just more stuff that I pushed down. And it was all about, going to meetings and quoting the big book and making it seem like I was this big spiritual beast. And I was literally just faking it, but I was told to fake it. I was told to fake it until I could make it. Right. And like, even though the program wasn't working for me, I still loved it because I thought my only other option was death, right? So I'm like, I gotta love this shit. And so I tried and I tried and I tried to make it work. But yeah, I don't think I had an original thought for the whole time I was in there. And if I did, I thought it was wrong, right? Because you're taught that it's wrong. So everything it goes through like this filter. And then all of a sudden, I'm just a walking cliche machine, man.
And it gets into the sunk cost fallacy too, where we put so much into it, whether it's the money that we paid on treatment or the time or the energy or the effort, where we feel like we can't change pathways now. It has to be right because we're so invested in it.
So true. So true. I never even thought of that, especially like my whole 20s just being a revolving door of in and out of treatment, sober living, all that stuff. Like, yeah. And the other thing is, what switched to what? There was no other pathway, right? Like when I was going in and out of treatment, there was, I think I heard a smart recovery once and people like, laughed at it and whatever it was. It was like it was work the program or die. That was the message,
Mm.
Let's see. I was exposed at 19 years old, in and out, and subtly brainwashed that I could not even drink moderately again. I had more sobriety on my own, even moderately drinking, unfortunately. Yeah, because it's either you're on or off, right? Like once you have been programmed to believe that you have this allergy, there's no such thing as moderation. We don't do moderation. We can't do that, right? So there is, once you put that in a substance in my body, I was off and running. Even if I really wasn't off and running, I told myself, I was like, oh, well, it's over now. Might as well keep going. So yeah, it's crazy.
Oh my God, there's so many comments. I didn't even know I should scroll down. They just keep going over it.
Gbo, why are you trying to give me PTSD? If you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. Man, I cringe now when I see that quote. Same. Oof. I can hear it. I can hear it. I am at a low point and made a really poor choice, and the disease or lack of choice crept into my mind and self-sabotaged. I'm sorry you're going through it, but this is just my, my take. Everybody's different, but the good thing is that we do have a choice, right? And we don't have to. And obviously that's a lot easier said than done. And sometimes when I talk about this stuff, I'm like, is it so easy for me to say these things because I'm so far removed from it? Right? Like, is it so easy for me to say, well, we always have a choice. We don't lose the power of choice. We can stop. Is that so easy for me to say because I'm not dealing with those cravings and any of that shit anymore, right? So sometimes I catch myself and it's like, yes, absolutely, we always have a choice. And there were plenty of times I thought I didn't have a choice anymore, but I technically still made the choice to keep going because it felt like I didn't have a choice. Sometimes I just get caught up in that, like the choice versus not have a choice. What's that saying? A head full of recovery. It's like a head full of recovery and a belly full of beer or something like that. Isn't that what it is? Something like that. That's a good point. AA creates a lack of choice. Yeah, it does. You don't have a choice. When you are a believer, well, I'm not like those people who can drink moderately because I have this allergy. And if I didn't have this allergy, I would have never made it to these rooms, right? That's what you tell yourself. And then, yeah, it does. There is no choice when you believe you don't have a choice. Thanks for all these comments, guys. Hey, I'm at work listening in. Thanks for being truth tellers. AA caused more harm than good.
You know what's so interesting about this question, and awesome you're listening in from work. I didn't realize how harmful AA was until after I left. I didn't see the harm. I know that, like, maybe y'all, little shout out to Quackaholics Anonymous. He was experiencing the harm while he was in it, and he was clear about it. But I didn't know that I was being harmed while I was in it. It was cunning, baffling, powerful. It was subtle, subtle foe. And so I didn't know that it was causing the harm. And when people say AA, it works if you work it, or it worked for you. And I'm like, okay, it worked for me. If by it worked for me, you mean that I didn't drink since I went to AA, that is true. So I would be considered one of their stats, not that there's ever like an actual research study on anonymous people, right? But I would be one of the people that it worked for if what we're saying work is that you stayed abstinent, right? That you stayed sober from alcohol, which has been my situation. But that's like kind of like saying, let's say somebody is very abusive. Let's say they saw off your leg and they do all sorts of crazy ass stuff, right? They burn your house down and they do every bad thing that could possibly happen, but they fed you. So you owe your life to them because they fed you. They fed you, right? It worked, right? It worked. It's like, well, okay, because it's not like just like one or the other. It's like, what about all the things that AA did? AA didn't just help me not drink. It also helped me not believe in myself. It also helped me not trust myself. It also helped me become codependent on a sponsor, on a group. It also helped me like lose my personality to a group. It also helped me lose my critical thinking. So all the help, you know what I mean? Like it's not. So when they say like, yeah, AA did more harm than good, it's like I can see that clearly now that I'm out here is the harm that it caused. And that's why I think it's so dangerous too. It's because I couldn't see it when I was in it. That's why I always use the analogy like being lost in ideology, like the fish in the water. The fish can't see that it's in water. I couldn't see that I was in AA and what that meant for every single area of my life.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I've said, even when I left, I was still recommending the program to people because I thought it worked for everybody else. It was me that was the problem. I couldn't get it to work because there was something inherently wrong with me. But for years, I still recommended when people would say, you know, what do I do with my loved one? What do I do? I say, go to meetings, you know, and I mean, I would say some variation. If you can really work it, it will work. I see it. I see it work for people. I couldn't do it, but I know it works if you work it. Like how deranged and brainwashed is that to know that I gave nearly a decade of my life trying to make it work, leaving, and then still believing that it worked. What? Like what? Dun, dun. And it's literal all disease oriented and a lifelong imprisonment. I was laughed at and mocked when I said I do not believe I have a disease and a lack of choice.
God, I have so much compassion for everybody involved in this type of a situation, which I've been in myself too. And it really, the analogy that it always gets me is like, you are realizing that you've been incarcerated and that and that your jail cell has been open the entire time, as well as there's no guards and you can walk straight out of the prison. And you're like, oh shit, it's been unlocked the whole time. I didn't even know I was in a prison. And then you just walk out. And then the other prisoners who are also unlocked laugh at you for walking out. I mean, that's how I see it. And when I use that analogy, it really helps me have compassion for myself, empathy for myself, but also for the other person too. I'm like, they're literally laughing at me, but they're fucked. So right. It kind of helps me like forgive them in a way, although that's a journey. No one should force, it's a process. But it also helps me just see more clearly, like what it is. Analogies, maybe that's just, I kind of think in pictures. Anybody else think in pictures? So I just kind of see metaphors in my mind and I find them very like liberating when I change my perspective on like from a greater understanding of like what's happening. So I feel sad for people who would be laughing at me in that case then, because they don't know that they're trapped. They're laughing at me that I'm free. That's how I take it. But it does suck. It's not fun to be laughed at, mocked, all those kinds of things, and shunned.
Right. Yeah. And like what you were saying about in the jail thing, it's one of those things that I try to keep in perspective. Keyword try, when I'm going back and forth with people. I don't do it nearly as much as I used to on TikTok, but I would get comments from 12-steppers and I would react to them because, you know, it would strike an emotion. And I'd be like, all right, baby, it's on. Oh, my dog is acting crazy. And I would go back and forth with them. But after a while, I'm like, I'm going back and forth with people who are stuck. They're stuck and they don't know the prison that you're talking about. They're in this prison, this unlocked prison, and they don't know. And in the end, they think that they're doing the right thing. They do think I'm harmful. They do think I'm spreading a deadly message. That's not because they're assholes. That's because they truly believe in it. And
Yeah.
it's sad and it's crazy all at the same time.
Yeah, it really is a lot to unpack, but it is like we can speak the deconstructed language and the indoctrinated language. So we do have the ability to have empathy for them where they might not even have the ability to have empathy for our position because they can't see out of the ideology. Not that we're responsible then for them or any of that, but it helps breed empathy within me or birth empathy within me. And when I can find empathy for somebody else's position, I always do better mentally, emotionally, all of the things.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why they're doing that. Okay. Or I just try it. I don't know. I always just, if I can come to a place of empathy, I always just, I don't know. I'm in my heart more, you know?
No, totally. I totally agree. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Kate. Yeah. That's this one say. Great analogy. It's like the story of people in a cave seeing shadows projected on the cave wall.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep reading. Do you want to read?
Okay. Jim says, well, hey, Kate. Hi. This is recorded, so you didn't miss anything. Also, we had our own tech issues, so everyone's having a vibe today. Welcome to the party. Okay. Jim says, take what you want and leave the rest. What you were just sitting in that meeting, staying such and such isn't working a program. Yeah. The way that I see take what you want and leave the rest now is I think I actually could now where I could not when I was in AA because I no longer am tethered to, I've removed the programming of that it's real, that it's true, that I'm diseased, that I'm broken, that I'm fundamentally flawed, character defected, spiritual malady, physical allergy. I've deconstructed all of that stuff. So I'm no longer coerced into it. Now, I wouldn't want to go back into a meeting because the brainwashing is strong and I don't think I'm above brainwashing. We're more vulnerable. Oh, you know what? We just read this book in my deprogram book club, Cults in Our Midst. What does she say? There's a line here she's like an iconic cult deprogrammer from she was helping people out of Jonestown's and stuff. So individual autonomy and personal identity are much more fragile than commonly believed. And here's something by our pal Orwell, who wrote 1984, as we probably all know. He wrote, he noted that language, not physical force, is the key to manipulating minds. You may see politicians doing this kind of thing. You may have seen propaganda even back from, going into World War II and stuff. But short, repetitive phrases, it works if you work it. The slogans are how the programming happens. Yeah. So it's so textbook. So it kind of is gives you a lot of validation, or gives me a lot of validation to learn about brainwashing. But it's also just ooh. Then you can kind of see it everywhere, which is why I feel so excited for us. I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't go back. If I could go back, I wouldn't go, but I'm not mad about it at the same time because I love where I'm at now, which is somebody who understands what it's like to be possessed by a cult and then to move through that. So I love where I am now in my own intellectual understanding of all the things. And so I wouldn't erase it, but I would never go back. I'd rather just learn about it in a book or something.
Yeah, totally. I made a bad choice, but not because I have a disease. And there's an entire other perspective towards being sober. Yet I have to use this model to combat my future consequences. One thing I will say about this is that the program absolutely prevented me. The framing everything is my disease, right? I have a headache, it's because of my disease. Everything, I'm sad, my disease. I'm happy, my disease. Everything is my disease, right? Every emotion, every single thing is because of your disease. You never get to work on anything else because you think everything relates to your disease. You don't look at your anxiety. You don't look at your neurodivergence. You don't look at any of that shit. you just look at your disease, and it's so sad because even society looks at people like that, right? They hear you're in recovery or that you're struggling or something. Now they're like, oh, like they see you differently because of that label of the disease model. My voice is going. I can't
Yeah,
stand.
that's why I will no longer have my identity linked to anything that has dysfunction in it at all. I don't do that with my identity. Y'all have been around here for a hot minute. My core principle that I live by is I'm here to evolve. I'm a soul inside a body here to evolve. That's what I choose. So I'm here to evolve. So I'm not linking myself to a habit that I used to have, like drinking or anything. I just find that it's too limiting, and I'm not here to be limited. I want to keep expanding. I want to keep evolving. I really see that as the point of life. That's like just to keep growing and to keep trying to become, I don't know, get older and wiser. Like very simple. Not cling to something from my past that weighs me down.
It's
So like
so
this
true.
idea of diseased.
Yeah, for sure. And like, think about how much you, even on this deprogramming journey, how much you've evolved since just then, and the things that you've thought about this. Like, there are things that I put out even just a year ago that I'm like, I don't know if I totally feel like that now at this point, because I've
Yeah.
had more time to, deprogram and get away from it all. And it's just, it's,
That is such a good point. And that's why I try to always be clear to say, I'm just one perspective. You don't need to hear this, but I'll say it anyways. Don't listen to me. Use what I say to help you find out as a resource, just like I'm using lots of resources to help me wake up. That there's just a bunch of resources out there. There is not one way. It's not about aligning with like one person, one way of one person's thoughts or one person's whatever. I don't even agree with everything that I've said, 7 months ago, 6 months ago. And so I'm always evolving. There is nothing static and stable about how I see everything. It's always updating. I'm always improving. It's like, can you imagine like you have like your phone, right? I'm not going to like link myself to my phone from a certain period of time and never update it, never get the new apps, never get whatever. Like they don't work anymore. Like everything is changing. We're becoming smarter as a society. Things change so fast, especially now with AI and everything. And so like, one of my very first jobs ever was, some of you might not even know what this is, Blockbuster Video. Does anybody know what Blockbuster Video is? Yes, I worked at Blockbuster Video. We had things called VHS tapes. And before we had Netflix, before we had streaming, all of that. And that's like not even an industry now. There's not even a company now. It's like, you can't cling to like one thing and just stay. I think it's about evolving. So yeah, I don't agree with everything that I used to say. And I'm not the future Kirsten. The Kirsten from 6 months ago is not going to agree with everything that I say here. So it's about being fluid, not fixed. It's not like my mindset is to continually update my beliefs as I get new information. Does this thing make sense to me? Do I want to think critically about it, make a decision, and kind of keep moving on. So that's my encouragement to people, is to continually evolve if that feels right for you.
yeah, I agree. I left AA and the 12 steps for good. I do go sometimes, but I haven't found a support group of sober people yet that's not AA people. And I'll just say, from my experience, I don't have a sober group of people at all. Granted, it's been years, but sometimes I think, this is, again, just thinking outside the box. Like, maybe we don't have to be around a sober group of people. Maybe we can just join a kickball league. Or maybe now sometimes, yeah, totally. Do they go people? It seems like sometimes they go and drink and such, but there are other things, other groups of people that we can join, a book club, a journal club, a whatever club. There's so many different things that we can do that don't necessarily have to be about our recovery. I think we're so we've just been programmed to believe that it has to be, but there's so many other forms of support and camaraderie and fellowship that don't necessarily have to be about recovery. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Melissa, hey girl. It's still really difficult when dealing with the indoctrinated for me. Yeah. They are difficult to deal with, but like we were talking about, you don't have to do anything. But what I try to remember to do is that they're the sick and suffering, right? And they don't even know it. Damn, it's already 1:23. Would be for oh well, not for you. What time is it in your land?
Well, we've been on. What do you think? Should we do 90 minutes total? Sorry. Should we with 10 more minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have to go to the bathroom soon. I drink. I love drinking. I'm always drinking all the things. So I'm always going to the bathroom. I've always loved drinking. That's just
you don't care what it is.
Well, I don't know. I read that that's like an ADHD thing too. Like you have your coffee, you have your water, and then you might have like a bubbly drink too with lemon in it. I don't know. Like you might have like all the things.
Maybe.
Exactly.
It might be.
You don't know what you want.
Well, I was gonna make this thing, but I haven't found. Have you found? Has anybody found any? I always get sold on all these things on TikTok Shop or on social media and like stuff that helps you focus, and none of it ever works for me. I haven't opened this one yet because I'm like, maybe this is gonna work, but once I open it and it doesn't work, then I won't have those high hopes. So, but I'm have you found anything? Do you have any natural thing that you take that helps you? You seem so organized and shit.
Natural thing that helps me for what?
Like focus?
I mean, I should make a whole video on this. I do.
Yeah.
I got really into biohacking. So I'm really into like light therapies and like, I'm like, look, I'm not going to bring it out, but it's like right there. Like I zap my brain with lights and I do all sorts of things.
Yeah, I would love a video on that.
So I'm such a nerd. I love researching. I go really deep and it's just how I've always been. And it's probably how I'm always going to be. And so I search wide and far, read deep, read around the clock before I make a decision on things. And so I studied brain optimization, specifically like looking at like autism and studies and stuff for how to optimize my brain. And then I tried a bunch of things and then I got really great results. My brain is currently working better than it ever has in my entire life. And I think it's because of understanding biology, optimizing for my cells at a biological or cellular level, and really going through and doing a handful of things that have made my brain really function. Like it's almost once a day I have the thought of, I can't believe that like how easy this feels right now because of how hard it used to be for me to do specific things. And so especially after getting, I think it was like, so I got diagnosed ADHD August of last year. So it was like maybe a week or two later is when I started doing the research further about just biohacking in general. But I'd already been researching autism for years because I already knew about autism. So I went, movement, nutrition, optimizing my nutrition, get it locked in. It involves supplements. It involves sunlight, light therapy in general, and detoxification. And it would have to be its own really long video. But it really, a lot of the things that I have optimized through digging through, understanding my brain and therefore my emotions and my cognition and my focus and my character defects, a lot of them were actually probably had to do with, could have been healed by what I've just done with like essentially biohacking would be the word for it probably. But it's really just looking at myself as at a biological level and giving my cells what they need to flourish. So that's adequate sleep, that's specific like nutrition, and then also not putting some kind of foods into my body and making sure I get lights at certain times of day. And and that, so ultimately what that's done, they're like getting toxins out of my system, like doing like major detoxification, including like infrared sauna, and then taking certain supplements to support my detox pathways and stuff. I know I'm getting a little bit like in a tangent here, but that's the more I could like detoxify stuff and move towards more like health or life affirming things, even with the clothes that I wear, the food that I eat, the environment that I'm in to support myself. It's completely radically transformed my entire life. And I, as somebody who loves to learn and who has been through a cult religion and deprogrammed, like the answers to all my problem are not acceptance or not God. Like that's not what it is. It's not about praying about it. It's about actually like taking care of my cells and understanding that I'm a biological being and doing life affirming things for myself, getting my nervous system out of the stress response, out of threat mode, moving into a place where I feel safe internally, and then supporting my cells with what they need. One of the things I'll just say, to be specific, is that I've never been on a diet in my life. That's never been my thing, but I've been on keto for almost 2 years now. And so running my brain on ketones versus running my brain on glucose and understanding how ketones versus glucose affect the brain has been a total game changer for me. There has been a lot of people in the comments that have talked about ketones or ketosis, or even like meat only diet, carnivore diet has helped them with their mental health. So for me, the reason why I went that route is because I was struggling. This wasn't like I was just bored one day and wanted to try something. I was struggling with my sensory system. It was overwhelming. It was keeping me in threat mode. So then I wasn't thinking clearly. I wasn't focused. I had all sorts of struggles. And so I went and found natural ways. I'm all on team natural first. That's my own personal opinion. I'm not anyone's doctor, obviously, or medical provider, but I wanted to find natural ways to improve my focus. And part of my drive to do that was I had these medical providers that were really pushing Adderall on me. And I was like, yo, bro, that's like option 5 or 6 on the list. There's things I want to try first to see if I can get myself to a level of functioning that I'm okay with. And I'm not against medication. I just don't want to be on anything. I would prefer to eat a way that supports my brain, that maybe I don't. You know what? Honestly, my favorite thing in the world is fucking nachos. Okay, let's be real. I love nachos. I love a good chip. I love a good crunch. I love guacamole. I haven't had nachos in almost 2 years. I would toss nachos forever to have a brain that's functioning at a high level.
Yeah.
Because what's more important to me than the 10 or 5 minutes that I get to chew on a nacho is actually being able to have a brain that can function at a level that I want, so that I can show up in the way that I want to. I can do my purpose. I can be there regulated emotionally. I can be less swayed by stressors. I can be more stable. I can be more productive. I can get really good quality sleep. So all that stuff, like to me, it's like a maturity thing, right? Is what's more important, nachos or my entire life working better? Hello.
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah, let's
totally.
grieve the nacho and let's just like be a grown up. And but you can be a grown up and decide that you want nachos all the time. I used to decide that.
Right.
I hope that tangent wasn't too random, but there you go.
Well, no, because like I know this sounds dramatic, but when I tell you that my brain gets like, I say, okay, stop doing drugs, I should be able to accomplish my goals, right? My brain still gets in the way of my goals. Like there's been no real success, right? Like I'm still holding myself back, and I still feel as trapped as I did when I was doing dope, because it's like, at least when I was doing dope, I was getting high. Now I still can't reach my goals no matter how hard I try. It's like running on a hamster wheel, but I do eat like shit. I eat like total shit, like I don't eat well at all. And I know that it has something, I know that they go together, and it's kind of like, it's about making that decision. Like, it sounds so recovery, but am I sick and tired enough of this feeling to make that decision to where I give up nachos, to where I start, it's just crazy.
That's actually not crazy at all. That is the birthplace of almost all of the transformations I've been through, is the sick and tired of being sick and tired kind of thing. It's like enough is enough place. Sometimes we can make decisions to change from like a more empowered or thriving place, but sometimes quite often we make the decisions from a place of pain, which is what I would call that pain versus like wanting more. Pain's a bigger motivator for humans. Like all the psychology, like it's clear that pain is a bigger motivator. We'll do more to get out of pain than we will to seek pleasure. And so actually, I think run with it. If you want to make a change, that's okay. And I actually also want to acknowledge you that you already are, because you told me that you wanted to go live for 3 years now and that you haven't, right? I hope it's okay. I think we said that in our last live. So I hope that's not,
No, I'm fine.
forced confessional. But here you are right now in this moment. We're having like a meta moment, right? Because now I'm actually seeing you do what you said that you haven't been able to do for years, but you're actually doing it right here in this moment right here. And even if anybody was on the very first like 5-10 minutes of this stream, or the stream we tried to start on my channel, like it was a clusterfuck. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing. Like, But now we're rolling, we just keep rolling, and it might be a clusterfuck next time. We'll see. But we're actually just doing it anyways, and we're figuring it out. And you found a way that you can get over the hurdle of not doing it, which was tag teaming by joining, like us doing it together. Yeah. So now you made yourself accountable. You created a system that you can't really back out of. You could have canceled with me. I would have gone live anyways and just been like, Burnie got burned. Like I'm here, Burnie's burning down. I don't something. she's the bong too much.
She smoked too much. Couldn't
kept
make
coming
it.
back. But you're doing it. So I'm actually witnessing you doing something that you didn't do before. So give yourself a little more credit. I would say you're actually right now in this moment doing what you couldn't do before. So it's finding ways to kind of trick yourself. Like in AA, like there was a lot of meetings, let me know in the comments, but there were so many meetings that I went to where I didn't want to go to them, but because I told a newcomer or a sponsee that I was going to meet them there, that I showed up because of the commitment that I made. And most of those times that other person never showed up. I'd be annoyed for half a minute. Then I'd be like, oh, well, it got me here. Right. And so sometimes it's about finding a way to get yourself to commit to something, whether that's through accountability, which is huge, or whether it's some way that you can get yourself to show up for the thing that you want to show up for, so that you don't back down and that you do it. And that when your brain says, I don't want to do it, you're like, fuck, I'm kind of committed. I have to, though. I have to get over that feeling, because we all have that. Isn't that right? Let me know, commenters. We all have that feeling. We all have, the brains have resistance. And like to me, this was such a huge thing. And like, maybe some of you guys know, I started being like a life coach in 2012. And this is something that I've worked with so many of my clients on like over a decade. It's like, we think that that it's just us, but like, we have to know that resistance is going to be there. Resistance is what it feels like to be outside our comfort zone. So if we're going to do something new, expect it. I like to personify it, like anthropomorphize it, where it's like, I imagine resistance like a blob. Every time I say I'm going to do the thing, the blob shows up and smothers me with like tar. And then I get, like quicksand comes and I'm like trapped in it. And so you have to just know that it's going to be there, that your mind is going to tell you, no, don't do it. For all these reasons. Procrastinate, you're not good enough, doubt, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Well, you can still do it when you don't know what you're doing. Were you here at the beginning of this live stream? We still did it. Sorry, I'm so sorry we didn't know what the hell we were doing. And so it's just understanding that on the process of transformation or doing something new, we are going to be met. So I kind of feel like all my emotions are like friends. That's how I think in my internal world now. This is just what's helped me get through. Like, it's because I had such a struggle, right? So I think of like, doubt is going to be there. Guilt is going to be there. Shame is going to be there. Shame's going to say like something's wrong with you. Guilt's going to say you can't do this because of this. Doubt's going to say you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're not good enough. You're not ready yet. You don't know enough. You're too old. You're too young, whatever. So and fear is just going to like maybe even make you forget about it or like procrastinate. So I just feel like all the friends are going to show up, and I got to be ready for the party of doing something new, which is going to be really fucking uncomfortable until I do it. And once I do it a bunch of times, it's not uncomfortable anymore, because now I've expanded my comfort zone and now it's comfortable. And that's like everybody. It's not ADHD. It's not autism. It's sure as fuck is an alcoholism. It's called being a human.
It's so hard to navigate all those things too. Like, what is this? What is that? And like, maybe I don't need to figure out what it is. I think I got like hyper aware of trying to figure out, well, what is this from? Because I used to blame everything on my disease, right? But then, like I was telling you, then I feel like I put everything on my ADHD. It was like, oh, well, it wasn't my disease. It was my ADHD. So now it's just trying to, like, I don't care about any of those things. And regardless of what I have or what I don't have, there's still a path for me. And I just need to get on it.
Yeah. Can we put this last comment up? I want to just kind of speak to that. You know what? I honestly, that's totally fine. I don't mind negative comments. I don't want what you guys witnessed earlier. If you were here about 40 minutes ago or whenever that was me setting a boundary, because what I won't stand for is the ad hominem stuff. I don't tolerate it. Please attack my ideas. Please tell me how you think. Please tell me what makes sense to you. You can be an AA true believer. You can be whatever you are. Like, you can be yourself. And that's all I encourage, is you to be yourself. But when you start relentlessly attacking me and making it about me, now you've just gone into a new territory. Now you're getting abusive. And when you continually doing it like obsessively, and start making it very below the belt, and then you delete all your comments, like, so you're basically harassing me and then removing the trace. Well, I screenshotted that person. That's why I made a comment about that person, because I was like, I see you. And 2 days ago, you were basically like, I will not, I learned this. I will not just let somebody continually fuck with me without saying anything. If you keep coming back to punch at me, eventually I'm going to catch your fist and like, bend your arm around your hand and say, get the fuck out of here. If you don't play nice, fuck off. Yeah. You're welcome here, though. So I appreciate what you're saying here in this comment. And I want it to be known, please disagree with me. That's all I want. I want everyone to disagree with me. Like, please, because it means you're thinking for yourself, or find your truth with what I'm saying. But it's not about what any one person says. It's not about what Bill Wilson says. It's not about anybody. It's about what makes sense to you. So I'm totally okay with negative comments. But if somebody is going to continually make it about me and make it personal, and it gets into this like coercive control, emotional manipulation, fuck right off. Like, fuck right off. Yeah. I'm not here for the people who want to be abusive with me repeatedly, like addictively. So if you keep coming at me like 20, 30 times, delete your comments, this, that, come in through another username, and then go rogue, and then want to show up live, yeah, I'm going to say something, which is, please talk about what I'm talking about, not about me. I'm boring. Nobody cares about me. No, it's not about me. Like, I might be an asshole, or my favorite word is C-bomb. Call me whatever, but it's not interesting. Nobody cares about me. Like, we care about getting the cult out of our head. Let's focus on the cult in our head. So I appreciate you for saying that, but I love that you're feeling sincere. You have a question. Okay. I ramble sometimes.
I'll put it up there.
Okay.
I believe this was the question.
Bestie. Ooh, Bestie. Okay. Bestie, one of your videos I watched, you mentioned AA as a cast. You used it as a temporary model, then move on. Yeah. So I feel like with recovery, I think about like addiction recovery as like recovery from a broken leg. Like, it's a temporary thing that you can move on from. Now, that's what I've decided for myself. I don't know what anybody else should do. I don't know if anybody should be in recovery forever. And maybe some people should be, or could be, or choose to be, or ought to be. For me, I realized that recovery is not forever, whether it's a broken leg with a cast, the cast is removed, or whether it's alcohol addiction with addiction recovery, which I went to AA and rehab, right? And then you remove it, you're done, and you move on. The thing about AA is that it comes with harm. So if you do smart recovery and leave, you don't need to deprogram from smart. But the thing about AA is that there's another recovery period. There's like a phase 2 of recovery, which is where you have to deprogram. You have to recover from the recovery. Yeah. So I still do think that the cast is a great model, but perhaps the way that when you're using AA as your cast, there's a time when you get off the cast, and then there's a time when you get off the crutches. And one is getting off of alcohol, and then getting off of Alcoholics Anonymous. So that's really how I think about it. But I'm not here to tell anybody how to do their addiction recovery. I'm just here to say that here's another way that I found that works for me, and you can find a way that works for you, especially if you have solid support that you can trust that can help you make that decision if it's not clear to you already.
Yeah. I agree with that take too, is that recovery, in my opinion, is shouldn't be for forever. We're constantly evolving and working on other things. That's not to say that, you've reached this point where you're just perfect and there's nothing that you need to work on. But I do believe you can recover from your chaotic relationship with substances. I absolutely believe that can be repaired and healed,
Okay. I'm wondering if I see this comment from Amy. Wait here. What was that word that you just said that begins with H? I'm not sure, but maybe you mean ad hominem. Ad hominem. So I just did a video about this 2 weeks ago. I learned about this video. I think I learned about it from Butterfly, who was on earlier, if not on right now, where ad hominem is where you attack the person, not the idea. It's a logical fallacy. It's a way to kind of you're changing the conversation. So if I'm talking about deconstructing AA, you start calling me angry, mad, hateful, a loser, an idiot, whatever. So, okay, while those things may or may not be true, they're not relevant to what the conversation is, which is that AA is harmful, is what we're talking about, right? So you can say AA is not harmful, here's why, but when you say you're an asshole, you've kind of, that's called ad hominem. It's like, maybe, but it's not relevant. Like
ad hominem.
Yeah, such a game changer to understand the term, understand how our minds can. And it's not that the people who are doing ad hominem are bad. It's that they're unaware, right? Or maybe they are aware, which would make it even worse. But I think that the logical fallacies, it's great to learn about them because we can just become wiser, and we can all fall prey to them if we don't know what they are. So it's one of those like, but for the grace of God, there go I things, dare I say, because it's about learning how the mind can trick us or see the world maybe not clearly, or our perspective could be skewed, and we can see more clearly or think more clearly.
Yeah. Well, we've been on for 1 hour and 35 minutes. Is there anything else you want to address before we wrap it up?
I mean, this has been such a vibe. It's been fun to vibe with you guys. I'm curious to everybody who is watching live right now in the comments, or anybody who's watching the replay as well. Definitely big shout out to the replay watchers. We're thinking about doing this potentially weekly, to have just like a weekly Burnie and Bestie live hang to spark off conversations, see what you guys think, highlight some of your thoughts in the comments so that we can all vibe on them and connect, for anybody who wants to show up. And let me know in the comments if you want what you think about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Amy. Yeah. Love new words. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Somebody commented a month ago in my comments on YouTube, and I had to look it up, and then I was like, I'm obsessed. And it took me a couple of days to remember how to say it, ad hominem, because I had never heard of it. And I was like, what's that? Hominem?
Yeah, I'm not even going to attempt that word.
And then I got this, you guys, I love reading. So I got this book, which is like, it's more like a dictionary where it's like a reference book versus a book that you read front to back. And so then I looked up ad hominem in here, and actually I have it. That's ad hominem. I can actually read the ad hominem from this book really quickly just to end this on, because I made a video on this on my channel, but let's see, ad hominem. Okay, here is it says abusive. Also known as personal abuse, personal attacks, abusive fallacy, appeal to the person, damning the source, name calling, refutation by caricature, against the person, against the man, description, attacking the person, making the argument rather than the argument itself, when the attack on the person is completely irrelevant to the argument the person is making. I mean, so that was from Logical Fallacies. Actually, it's not quite fallacies, but I don't know how to pronounce that. So over 300 logical fallacies by Bo Bennett, PhD. So again, I'm not necessarily recommending this as a book to read, but I'm trying to learn about the individual ones, and I plan on making content, sharing them with you. So as I learn and become wiser in my own thoughts, if y'all want to come along with me on that journey, I'll share it with you as well. But it's a game changer to understand, because then when someone's doing ad hominem, instead of me feeling personally attacked or getting upset about it or taking it personally, although sometimes, we're human, we're still going to have a feeling about things, right? But quite often, instead of having a feeling about it, I can be like, oh, it's ad hominem. They're attacking me, not the topic. So then I'm not interested. To me, it's boring then. I'm like, this isn't relevant. It's like if I ask you, what did you have for dinner? And you start talking about the weather. I'm like, what? So it just kind of is like, or if you ask somebody a question and they answer you in French or Greek or Spanish, a language you don't speak, let's say, you're not like offended. You're like, oh, we're not communicating clearly. They're talking about something different, right? So to me, understanding how, and it's not even necessarily manipulative unless someone's conscious of it, but understanding how our brains can kind of not be clear, it helps me be more clear. So yeah.
Ad hominem, word of the day.
Ad hominem, the word of the day. Oh, and the phrase of the day is doorknob of your understanding, which is, what was that from Vic? Vic, I think Vic in the comments said that. Yeah, a doorknob of your understanding. You need to turn your life over to a doorknob of your understanding. So I told my mom that last night, and then when I left her house, she was like, "Careful of the car door." The door handle. I was like, "Oh my god."
Oh, that's funny.
Ad hominem. Yeah, it took a minute. Hominem. Now it's my favorite one. I'm like, that's everywhere. That's constant.
Yeah, that's a hard word.
Or like when you, because it happens in AA too. Like you think about it, like when you're a newcomer in AA and you say something, a critical thinking thought, or like this doesn't make sense because of this, or you doubt it because of this, and then they make it about, oh, you're new, cotton out of your ears into your mouth. Now they're making it about you instead of what you said. So it can be used very gaslighty, as well. Or I don't know, it can be very manipulative depending upon the context, but it could also just be somebody who's unconscious. I mean, I probably offend people daily when I'm not aware of it. So this is like, we all probably do these things, right? Say things that we're not really clear on how they might not be the kindest or clearest or whatever. So for me, it's just about growing myself and
Oh, so.
So Kate says, doorknob of my understanding, still looking for knobs in my house. Oh, right. That's right. Because in Italy, they don't have doorknobs. They have door sliders or door somethings. Kate, you know what? You can make your whole door a higher power. How about that?
There you go.
Should we just do that?
Screw the knob. Take the whole door.
Oh my god. Okay. Pocket doors. Okay, pocket doors. Yeah. Okay, well can we pull up this one from PUZ Puzzled 01? Puzzled 01 says, thanks for the lives. Why not weekly? It'll grow. By the way, if someone stumbles along the way outside of AA, does not mean they were me or in denial of the disease model and lack of personal choice. If someone stumbles along the way outside of AA, does not mean they were in denial of the disease model and lack of personal choice. Yeah. Okay. Cool. We were thinking about doing this. We're still figuring out how it all works because we're new to the live thing on YouTube. And so we were thinking about going live 1 week on my channel and then the next week on Burn the Stigma and the next week on Sobriety Bestie and back and forth. But it looks like we can kind of do like joint it so it goes on both of our accounts at the same time. So we're still learning the technology. And like I said in the beginning, just do the thing that you're scared of doing. And eventually you won't do it poorly. We sucked at the beginning of this live stream. We're going to be better next time. Maybe, can't promise. Eventually by next year, if we keep doing it live, by next year, we're going to be good. It'll be a smooth beginning. Yeah, so I think it would be fun. I especially love it when what I love most about the lives is that we can pull your comments on and incorporate all of your thoughts and your ideas and make this more of a meeting of the minds.
Yeah.
Which I think is, for me, is part of like the true part of the healing from this is for me the comments. It's seeing what everybody thinks and finding our own way through looking at what everybody thinks, not just one person.
Right. Yeah, totally. It helps me too. Helps me process these things and think differently or, think of something that I haven't thought of. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it feels like a vibe.
It's a vibe. Well, I will serenade you to end it. It's a vibe. No, I don't know songs.
Okay.
Yay, sounds like a plan, man.
Yay. Okay, so
it's a vibe.
Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and especially the replay people. We want to know what you think in the comments. I want to know what you think in the comments, everyone who's watching the replay. So definitely join the conversation down there. We will see you. I'll see you in the meantime on my channel and videos, and we will see you together in a week from now, next Sunday, probably same time, same place. Is that fair enough? Probably noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. I think that might be 5 p.m. UK, not sure. So same time, same place next week, but from Sobriety Bestie channel. But y'all know where to go. We're gonna try to co-join the things, and you can DM me in the meantime if you have any topics you want to make sure that we can discuss, or you can just show up live in the comments and like kickstart a conversation through your comment in here. And then we can, I like how we just kind of go all different directions based upon what actually is relevant today by everybody.
Yeah.
And oh yes, Jim, we're not giving out chips here today. And I just want to let you know that my sponsor knows they have a sponsor who knows they have a sponsor. Just kidding.
God. You guys are killing me.
All right. Bye everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Hope you, see you next time.
Yeah. Have a good start to the week.
I think I just set them off.